When we're doing a facelift, we're lifting things that have fallen with gravity, but it's not just the skin, it's the muscle layer underneath the skin. So let's talk a little anatomy with this beautiful demonstration. When we're young, our skin is up nice and high because it's being supported by this muscle called the SMAS muscle. The SMAS muscle starts at the temples and it runs through the temples, through the cheeks like drapes, and continues on into the neck as the platysma muscle. And in the center of our neck, it connects together, creating one U-shaped hammock of muscle that's holding our face and skin up. But as we age, gravity takes over and that hammock starts sliding down and it takes the loose skin with it, creating the jowls. And in the center of our neck, it splits right down the center and the muscle starts to separate apart and side. And you see the inside edge of this muscle show up as a band in your neck. So there are two types of facelifts. There's a SMAS facelift and a D-plane facelift, and they both are working on fixing this hand. A SMAS facelift says, all right, let's make an incision under the chin here. We'll tie the hammock of muscle back together in the center, called the platysmoplasty. We'll make U-shaped incisions around the ears. We'll lift up the skin until we can see that hammock of muscle underneath. Then we're going to go underneath the hammock of muscle, lift it up, and stitch it into place. Cut out the excess skin when we do that. But the problem with that sub-SMAS facelift is it doesn't take into account the fact that that hammock of muscle is also tethered down with Velcro-like attachments, as you can see here, along the cheek, along the masseter there, along the jawbone here, and in the neck. So even though the surgeons are lifting up the muscle from here to here, when they go to lift, there's going to be a tug of war holding that down because those X's are Velcro-like attachments that aren't going to allow it to move. So what do you do in a tug of war? Oftentimes surgeons will cramp really tight to get it to move. But if you're cranking against these Velcro-like attachments, all that's going to do is create bunny pulls, bunny pleats, sweeps, tension through the face, and thick scars. We don't like any of that stuff. That's why you do a D-plane facelift. The idea there is we're still working on this hammock of muscle that instead of stopping here, we're going to go further with expertise underneath that hammock of muscle and release all these X's, all these Velcro-like attachments through here, here, and here. And now we're further along the face. We've won the tug of war. So now we can lift the face up without having to crank on it, without pulling as hard as we can, but just by lifting the face into the proper position like you would do in the mirror. It'll leave you with a soft, supple, natural-looking face. No tension, no funny pulls, incision lines that have no tension on them, so they're going to heal paper thin, something you will wear proudly and know you look rejuvenated.